Hello and welcome to another Squeaky Chimp tutorial, the first for 2024. And in this next series of tutorials, I'm going to be doing a can I use X to colour my beads with. And for this tutorial, I have chosen to use these, which are foundation or skin tints. They're something that I found in a magazine or I'd got delivered something, and I'm never going to use them, but rather than waste them, let's see whether we can use them to colour our beads. So I'm using this template. If anyone is interested, then take a screenshot. This is the size in centimetres and this is in inches, and I'm going to get rid of that. And what I have done is I have done 2 beads of each. So this one is with the paper, I'll just show you, with the paper around this way so that the lines are on the inside. And then I thought I'd spice it up a little bit just to give you another option. And this one is with the lines on the outside. And I quite like this look. I think it kind of gives a little bit more dimension, but it's going to ultimately depend on what happens when we do the colouring of the beads. So what I've got here is I've got a kind of non-stick mat that I'm going to put the foundational skin tint on. I've also got a paintbrush that I'm going to use to colour to sort of paint it on, because I don't want it to go on thick. I want to be able to build up layers, and I've got a pair of scissors in case I need to cut it open, and then I've got a very quick makeshift bead holder, and this is something that you could easily make at home. It's literally a rolled up piece of corrugated cardboard. It sits beautifully and your beads can just sit in it. So let me get started. I'm going to get all the colours out. So as predicted, the packets were pretty much impossible, so I ended up snipping them in the end. What I've done is I've put the lightest, the medium and the darkest colour out on my palette. So I'm going to choose my first bead and I'm going to choose my paintbrush. Okay, so best laid plans of mice and men. As I was putting my colours out, I accidentally flicked one of my beads. So one of them has already got the medium colour and a little bit of the brown, the darkest brown on here. So, well, let's just go with the flow, because do you know what? Accidents happen, and let's just not be too precious about things. I think sometimes, you know, when we watch YouTube videos, we always watch like the good bits, but actually I wanted to just be realistic today and actually show you that sometimes things don't always go according to plan. So I'm just going to make sure my bead is on, and I'm going to choose a little bit more of the dark. And you can see that what I'm doing is I'm kind of doing a bit of a stabbing motion with my brush, because more like a sort of stippling, because what I don't want to do is just apply too much colour. I kind of want to build it up and sort of take away if I want to, maybe put a little bit more of the paler colour in the middle just to see kind of what happens. But actually, so far I'm quite liking the results, especially as this is completely free. It was just a free sample, and you know me, I'm always happy to reuse, reduce and recycle, because otherwise those foundations would have just ended up in the bin. So that one is my first one, and that was one of just the plain white ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what happens if we use one of the ones with the black. And this time, because I haven't accidentally flicked it on the floor, I can probably build the colour up a little bit slower. So I'm going to start with the palest first. So whenever you're doing anything, you want to start with the palest colour first and then build up. So I will probably start with the palest colour just in the middle. And actually, in reality, I mean, they are different, but they're not hugely different. Well, they don't look that different on here. And then I might take a little bit of the medium one. And just go around the edge bits. See what I mean about those dark lines? How they kind of add an extra dimension to it. And then what I'll do is I'm going to try and get rid of some of that colour You might have a tissue next to you. Try if possible not to use wet wipes because as we all know, they're really bad for the environment, unless obviously you're using plastic free ones and you reuse them, but try not to if possible use wet wipes. So I'm going to use this around the top, and I also quite like to sometimes just colour the inside of my bead. So actually that has given a really nice kind of creamy caramelly colour. I like it. So what I'm going to do, in order to keep this video short, keep it punchy, just so that you can see what we're going to do, is I'm going to carry on colouring these other two beads. I'll come back and show you what they look like. I'll then show you what they look like when they're dry and when they're glazed. As promised, here's your bonus bit, and thank you for staying this long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look and see whether I could use this foundation to make a glaze, because I've got lots left over, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this Vallejo acrylic varnish. It is a cloudy liquid which then turns lovely and clear. So I'm just going to pour some of that into my little pot here, and I've got a lid for my little pot, so if it is successful I can then use it on other ones. Now already my paintbrush has got a lot of colour in it, so for the moment I'm not going to add any more. So I'm almost going to use this as a little bit of a way of kind of cleaning my brush, but let's see what happens. It's either going to work beautifully or it's going to like sort of separate or go lumpy, or it's going to do something. So let's see what happens, because this might be a nice way to also add colour to your beads, and it looks like it's kind of mixing. Let's show you what it looks like at the moment. Some things will dissolve into polyacrylic, other things won't dissolve. Now this one looks like it's kind of ish, still a bit lumpy. It's quite a thick consistency, so you might not be able to put the lid on and shake it. But there we go. We've kind of got a slightly tanned glaze, which I think might be quite a fun way to colour your beads with. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the darkest colour to counteract the pale colour, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the beads. So here we go, we have got to the end of the video and it's time for the big reveal. So here we go, here are the photos of the finished beads. So in picture 1 you can see all of the beads together. In picture 2, this is the 2 beads that I made that had the black stripes on the outside, and I really like those. Out of all the beads I made, I think they are my favourite. I just think they have got more depth to them and more sort of texture to them. The bead number 3, this is the bead where I mixed the foundation with the glaze, and that is it. So I didn't colour the bead prior to doing it. It was a plain white bead, and that was the bead that I just added the coloured glaze to. And again, I think that worked really well, and it's kind of got a bit of a shell-like quality to it, which I think is quite nice because it's not a solid colour to the glaze. It's actually kind of got different depths to it. There are darker bits and lighter bits, so I think that worked really well. Number 4, this is the bead where it was a white bead to begin with, and I think that worked really well. Not my absolute favourite, but I still do like it. And the last bead is again just a bit of a close-up of the bead. So which version is your favourite? Leave a comment in the box below. Let me know whether you like the black one with the black lines. Let me know if you like the one with the just plain white beads, or if you like the one where I coloured it with just the coloured glaze. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and do subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, leave a like, and I will see you in the next one. Speak to you soon. Bye.